So yeah, I can't step foot in a GameStop anymore because I get hives. It makes me feel like I want to kill myself.
It's because of all the bees.
Yeah,
There's so
would
many
be the
bees
reason.
in there. I don't know what their bee releasing policy is on in that store, but there's way too many bees. That's why there's so
And
many
snakes
hives.
too.
Yeah.
I never liked going to GameStop, but it was always like the one place in my neighborhood that had games. So
Is this how we're starting?
yeah.
What is happening?
Hey,
Oh,
we're
okay.
at the Soft Lock Podcast, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Jake, that's John. We're talking about GameStop.
We're talking about GameStop. I haven't been into
I don't know.
GameStop in over a year. The last time was like kind of against my free will. It's just very oppressive in there. Every GameStop is extremely oppressive. I think they're low-key due for a total redesign of the look of their stores because they look exactly the same as they have since I was probably in the single digits of age.
Yeah, but now all the things in the middle that used to have like the Wii tennis racket and like the Kinect and all that, now it's just Funko Pops and t-shirts.
Yeah, GameStop seems to be more of a merchandise store these days.
I stopped shopping there. Well, I didn't shop there by choice for a long time, but I started actively boycotting once they shut down Game Informer, and I don't think I bought anything from them since, and I don't think I will either.
I think the last thing I attempted to purchase off of GameStop was the Silent Hill F Steelbook, and
How'd
we know
that
what
work out for you?
didn't work out at all. We know what happened there.
Oh man, check out the Silent Hill episode. John, what did you want to talk about today?
Well,
Gabbing?
I wanted to talk. Well, yeah, I just wanted to yap. Well, you said the other day that you have things on your chest, unless you've come to terms with them magically.
No, I have some things I need to discuss with you and
okay.
with the audience.
Well, yeah, I got a couple of odds and ends to discuss, just to mess around. I didn't really feel like doing a focused episode. We haven't done a "What have you been playing" episode in a grippy, I don't think. And I did want to mention I woke up really early this morning. I woke up at like 5 o'clock sharp this morning, and I couldn't fall back asleep. So I was just like, okay, I'll just like lay on the couch and watch some Simpsons and see what happens. And it was like some random season 12 episode, and I was like kind of drifting off to sleep. And it was an episode where, I don't know, one of the Simpsons gets like injured, and they're like, oh no, like what's wrong with me? I need to go check the internet doctor. And they go on, and it's like the internet doctor, or like online hospital or some shit like that. And it's like the logo of a cartoon, like the hospital logo, like the T, and then the two snakes curled around it or whatever. It like showed up that as the startup screen, and one of the snakes like, leaned over and looked directly into the screen, and it said, "Made by the creators of Dragon Quest and Sim Sandwich." And I went, "Wait, what?" And then I fell asleep. I was like so flabbergasted that the word Dragon Quest was in Simpsons. It was just like two separate worlds entirely.
Don't even get me started on Sim Sandwich.
Dude, Sim Sandwich. See, Sim Sandwich is was funny. Like that's actually pretty funny. Sim Sandwich, like that's some shit that like Homer would be playing or whatever on his phone. But Dragon Quest is just Dragon Quest, and I just don't. It like kind of blows my mind, because like, who was watching that at the time, being like, "Oh fuck, Dragon Quest." I just don't. Those audiences don't seem to line up. That's like if Tony Soprano's kid in The Sopranos was playing Dragon Quest like 8 or something in like a random episode in the background. It'd be like really weird.
There's an episode, and I'm sure you've seen this clipped out.
Are you talking about the fucking 2.5 Men?
Yeah.
I'm on Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Because my stepdad used to watch that show literally every day, so I think I've seen every syndicated episode of 2.5 Men, not by my own choice. And every time the episode came up where he wanted to get Final Fantasy, it was so like it's one of those moments where you're just like, "Oh, what'd you just say? Say that again."
If I recall correctly, maybe he doesn't really say anything of value or maybe I'm just
No.
misremembering. But I remember him. I remember it actually being like Final Fantasy X. Like it wasn't even just like some random. Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy X. So it wasn't even just some random like, I want to get Final Fantasy, beat the dragon. It's like he was like, yeah, I want Final Fantasy X with fucking Riku or whatever. But I don't think he actually says anything about it.
No.
It's just like, I want Final Fantasy.
Not to derail you more, but there was a clip. I don't know what show it is. I'm gonna look it up right now. There was a clip going around last year that like some newer show was out where it showed a clip.
Are you talking about the Xenoblade?
Yes.
Yes.
How did you know?
Because I also saw that clip. It's a show. I don't remember what show it is.
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
Just like a soap opera?
It's a soap opera that's been going on for like decades, and it just follows like a bunch of like people or whatever. It's like Star Trek-ish, you know, kind of thing, where it just changes constantly or whatever. And yeah, there was an episode where he's like, I don't know, he's at college or something, and a girl like knocks on his door, and he's like, oh, I was just playing like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's not even like Xenoblade Chronicles.
He's trying to flirt, and he's like, you want to come play Xenoblade on my Switch?
Yeah, and it's like, that's not even, why did you go the length to be like, yeah, here's a real console and a real video game, but like not pick a real like 2-player game, unless Xenoblade Chronicles is 2-player on Switch, which I don't think it is.
Don't think so.
No,
it's like at the Conan bits where he would just get like random ass games from his producer. It was that episode he did a segment on Biomutant. It like changed my brain chemistry.
Yeah, or he's in Death Stranding, I think. He's in one of them.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's really weird. But sometimes you get like the random reference that actually like is correct, and you're like, what the fuck? And it freaks you out. But it almost like never happens. It is really, really funny. I was thinking about in that Breaking Bad episode where Jesse's playing Sonic 06 with that kid, and he's having a great time. But they always like fuck up the details. Like in what's that Robin Williams movie? It's like 20-hour Photograph or something like that. And he's for some reason Neon Genesis Evangelion like comes up like two or three separate times, and the kid is holding up. First of all, a kid of that age, I just don't think like Neon Genesis Evangelion is like a probably like a late teen thing, when this kid is definitely like preteenish. Like I don't know, that show is not really like a mecha anime or anything. It's more like a drama, like emotional psychological drama. And he pulls out this, like he has like these action figures of these like villainous synthetic Evas or whatever that show up in like the last like in the end of the movie, which was kind of like the redo of the finale or whatever. And they're like these villains that show up. They're like these mindless, disgusting, like gluttonous villains that like eat Evas and shit like that. And the kid's like, yeah, he has the sword and he kills the bad guys. It's like, that's not correct. That's not even like, it's crazy.
Clip of Robin Williams, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and he says it right. It's really, really weird. And I think he knew. I think it's like Robin Williams like came out and said in an interview, he's like, yeah, I love that. I love that show. I thought it was really interesting. I was like, why didn't you just like get a different figure? Just get like Shinji and just be like, yeah, he's got a knife and he slices the bad guys or whatever. Like, why is it the only? It's like the most obscure, one of the most obscure like Eva, like things, and then they get it wrong. It's really fucking weird. It bothers me so much.
Last one in this vein of discussion. Have you seen the show iZombie?
No, but
It's not that good. I liked it a lot when it was on. It's not that good, but there's a couple episodes where two of the guys are playing Diablo. I think it's Diablo 3.
Oh man.
And when they're playing it, they're like showing footage of really high-end play. And I was always so impressed, and I was like, wow, they know their Diablo, because they're like talk about it in the script. And then I watched an interview years later, and the guy was like, no, we were actually playing Diablo, and it was a problem because we started to mess up our lines because we were too focused on Diablo.
See, that's funny. That is funny. iZombie is a terrible name for a show.
Oh yeah.
And it would have turned me off immediately, but that's pretty funny. And also, it low-key reminds me of Anytime in House, where he's playing his DS or his Game Boy, which happens like surprisingly frequently. There's an episode where he's playing like fucking Fusion or whatever, And he's like, I need to
Yeah,
save
the
planet
operating room.
Zebes. And I think he says, like, I need to save planet Zebes or some shit. It's like, wait, shut up. Okay, let's move on.
So Dragon Quest.
Dude, I think it's welcome back. Weird art style for like everywhere. I think we're back in fucking business. Remember in like the mid 2000s when everything kind of looked weird? A 2000
I remember in the
style
mid-2000s
of video game was weird.
I remember from like 2005 to 2010 where everything was brown.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. I think we may be in a visual drought because every time something new comes out, I'm kind of just going hyperbole because I can really only think of 2 examples. But Dragon Quest XII has been actually revealed, like for real this time. And the only thing I've seen people talk about is the fact that the new hero is kind of scary looking.
He looks sleepy.
Yeah, but that is crazy. Do you know all the news about the Dragon Quest XII? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I didn't watch the 40th anniversary thing or whatever. I won't give the whole story. I'm not a Dragon Quest guy. I'm just not. But I was like tangentially interested in Dragon Quest XII before the initial announcement, just because it was supposed to be a little bit darker and, you know, like lean into some of the stuff that was kind of more scary and more grounded about Dragon Quest. And I was like, that's a cool idea. You know, I'm not a fan, so I can't really comment on how well that's going to play, but I think it's a little interesting. Now they've changed it to, what is it, Beyond Dreams?
Yes, it's
and it
called
kind of
Beyond
looks
Dreams.
like just Dragon Quest 11, but maybe a little bit prettier. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. What's the deal that you are taking away from it?
I mean, there's really... I am like a light Dragon Quest fan. I really like the idea of the games. I really want to play more of them, but I'm really only interested in like the main series. There's like a bunch of spin-offs that I don't really care much about. And when they revealed it, I was like, wait, what? Is it? I was like confused because I knew that it was happening, and I just figured that the Dragon Quest 40th was just kind of gonna be a like, oh yeah, no more progress, no more information on Dragon Quest 12, because they revealed Dragon Quest 12 a really long time ago. It might have been like 2019 or something like that. You know,
that sounds right.
It was kind of right off the heels of Dragon Quest 11, which I'm a huge fan of Dragon Quest 11. I like that game a lot. So when they dropped Dragon Quest 12, and it was called like the Flames of Fate, and they kind of advertised it as a darker, more mature Dragon Quest. I was like, oh, okay, because you know Dragon Quest is always kind of the same thing. Dragon Quest is very consistent, so I kind of view them as kind of parallel series, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, because they're both, you know, really big mainstream franchises, JRPG franchises made by Square, and they're like, you know, side companies or whatever. But Final Fantasy is totally fucking off the rails. Every Final Fantasy game, they try to do something different, or they change up all these systems, or they're like, what if the setting was this or that? And then, you know, even in the most recent Final Fantasy, it's like Devil May Cry, you know, it looks totally different than anything that came before it. And even if you take, you know, Final Fantasy 12 and compare it to the main series game that came before it, which was 10, unless you want to count 11, which was an MMORPG, which I think you see my point. Like, they're all fucking crazy. Compare like one against another, that you're gonna be like, what is this? Meanwhile, like you compare Dragon Quest 4 to Dragon Quest 5, you're not really gonna see as much differences just straight up like on the surface, you know. Of course, there's different settings and different stories and different mechanics here or there, but they're mostly very consistent. It's a very consistent series, I would say. So when they were like Dragon Quest 12 was going to be different, and they were like, that was kind of like the main, that's basically the only thing we had, was that Dragon Quest 12 was going to be different. And it was like, whoa, we're excited. I'm into it. The Flames of Fate, that sounds really cool. and then we just didn't hear anything about it for years. And then lo and behold, they were just like, yeah, we didn't like it. We scrapped it all. So Flames of Fate, destroyed, dead in the water. All we can do is theorize what was happening, if it was like truly shit or not, which I imagine if they scrapped it, it was probably not going very well. And then, you know, they were just like, well, what do we do now? And then they're like, okay, Dragon Quest 12, let's kind of go back to basics, I think is the idea. You know what I mean? Just, it looks like another main series Dragon Quest game. And I don't know. There's a lot of discussion online. I remember I saw when they were like, when the posts first started coming out, and I remember the top comment on all of them was just like, fuck. Everyone was like, fuck, man. This shit sucks.
I mean, I don't know. Don't you think, like, Dragon Quest 8 to Dragon Quest 11, with the exception of, like, fidelity and lighting, they all look the same.
Oh, yeah.
This
no,
just
I
looks
actually,
like the next version of that.
Yeah, I actually don't have a horse in this race. I don't really feel strongly one way or another. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. But I know that, you know, I Reddit is so brutally and lovingly optimistic about every single thing. And they're just, you know, that knee-jerk reaction was people just being like, fuck this is so sad. And I just think people were just very disappointed that, you know, this game that people thought that they had this idea in their head. It's been years, so they kind of had this idea built up in their head, is now gone. And now it's like, I don't know. It's like your dad kind of going off to war, and then one day the guy comes, like, to the Navy guy comes to your door and is like, yeah, Dad's dead, but I'm your stepdad. You're like, wait. Because that's kind of what they did. They were like, yeah, Dragon Quest 12, Flames of Fate is no longer. Here's the new Dragon Quest 12. So I think people who had this idea built up in their head, and now they kind of have to come to terms with that it's gone, and that here's, like, the new guy. And we just have to kind of live with it. I mean, and honestly, there's really nothing you can really gauge off of this trailer. I think the only thing that I've seen is that of interest, I think, is that it has something to do with dreams, you know, beyond dreams. And if you've noticed, there was there's these weird, like, lizard people or whatever, these green guys. And I think there's gonna be, like, a dream world. The theory right now is that there's, like, a dream world, and that's, like, either the hero's form in the dream world, or that's his dream world counterpart. So we don't know if they're, like, two type of characters or they're the same character or whatever, but there's one of them is gonna be important to the story, like, for 100%. So I mean, that seems pretty interesting. I do think that the big elephant in the room is the hero design, and I think if you put that hero design next to all other hero designs, he does kind of stick out a little bit. And I don't think I'm being dramatic. I do think there is something design-wise is a little funky about him.
I mean, I don't know. As someone who also, you know, has literally no horse in the race, is not involved at all, I don't really think he stands out that much. I think it's just the fact that it's like, and they did this for Sandland as well. This Toriyama art style does not adapt very well to the modern perception of, like, cartoon realism. Like, the style that they go for with, like, some of the Final Fantasy spin-offs and like some of the, like, Korean games that have been coming out that are super high fidelity but still have that, like, anime art style.
Yeah.
I don't think Toriyama works very well with that. And, like, I don't think there is a 2D render of this guy yet. Am I wrong?
There is. Well, I don't think there's a 2D render, like, officially. I think there's just artwork of it. No, I actually do think there is yeah, there is a render. It was shown in the actual direct. Maybe it's not the official render. Maybe it was just the last piece of artwork that was. I just looked up Dragon Quest 12 Hero. Maybe it's just the last bit of artwork that Toriyama made of him before he, passed away. But Toriyama's been dead for quite a bit at this point, so I don't even know if it was made by him. I'm not really sure. I think, you know what it is? I think it's just a stunning visual change because, we can complain. There's a lot of things to possibly, like, pick out. There's the hair. People really don't like the hair. There's, like, the eyes, which look really scary. And there's the kind of crungly outfit, And I think that, honestly, all three of those things are kind of like the sore spots of this character design. But I only think it's like that because it's all of them together. I think these aspects of the character are actually not bad individually. I think all together, he just kind of looks a little strange. Especially compared side to side, because I think all the other Dragon Quest heroes, that's another thing you gotta realize. The Dragon Quest heroes are like, have a lust for life. They're like smiling, they have bright faces, lived eyes, they feel like they have soul behind them. Dragon Quest XII hero wants to die. He wants to be dead, and he
does look a little cranky.
He looks very, very cranky, and maybe that's what they're going for. This is about dreams, so it could be possible that there's, I don't know, problems with his fucking sleep or something like that. I don't really know. But I do think that his scary eyes, his hairstyle, and his outfit all together, I think, just turn people off. I don't think it's the strongest design of a hero. I don't think it's like the worst thing ever in the world, but I won't, I think many people's knee-jerk reactions was like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's some designs that are really good. Like Clive, like Final Fantasy 16 Clive. Like, say what you want about Final Fantasy 16, Clive looks good,
Yeah. I mean, I even think the Luminary looks really good, and his costume is just really simple.
I like the Luminary. He's not like the greatest design in history, but I really do like the Luminary. His hair is a bit funky, but you kind of get used to it. But
it's also one of those things that's like Toriyama has like 5 art styles.
Yeah, 5
hairstyles, and this one is Teen Gohan, and
yeah,
I don't think we've had that before. So
if you want a really weird character design, I think the most out there design for a Dragon Quest hero is probably Dragon Quest 6. Dragon Quest 6 hero is just Goku. It's like,
oh, he is.
It's really bizarre. And I haven't played 6 yet, but from what I've read, 6 kind of takes place in a kind of like a very high fantasy, like dreamish, surreal world, and that's why the designs are kind of like wild. But I mean, just look at that design compared to Dragon Quest V. The Dragon Quest V hero is just kind of like a normal dude in a cloak. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of the news on the Dragon Quest world. And I don't know. I wanted to bring that up because I just think it was apt that we had all that hilarity with Star Fox 64. The new Star Fox game, and now we're once again thrown into the discussion with the Dragon Quest game. That knee-jerk, like, oh fuck, this is what the game looks like. Jesus Christ! That online, and there was another thing that happened. I think wasn't there another thing that happened? What? Wasn't there another thing that happened? Like another series that was like, oh god, is this what it looks like? That was like dropping recently. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I think about it, I'll bring it up maybe later.
The thing that I took away from the Dragon Quest event was that they somehow managed to add more words to the title of Dragon Quest XI.
That is
with the
true.
Switch 2 version.
Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition S.
Here, I have it up. Dragon Quest XI S. Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition.
I actually just got the definitive edition on, maybe it's not the definitive edition, but I think it's like the same content. But it's Dragon Quest S. I just got it on PlayStation 5 or 4, like 2 days before they announced the Switch 2 edition, and I was like, huh, damn.
I've tried Dragon Quest 11. Okay. I played Dragon Quest 8 or whichever one was on the DS that I've told you about before, and I really liked it when I was a child. But every time I've tried to get into a modern Dragon Quest or like go back to any of the older ones, I think I'm just not cut out for like the classic JRPG formula. I just don't. I get bored really quickly playing these games.
I love that boring shit. Kind of. Like, I played a really boring RPG, and I kind of flamed it, but then I play some shit like Dragon Quest, and I'm like, hell yeah. I think it depends. You need to have the sauce if you're going to be a little boring and a little basic. And Dragon Quest just has that, because I think it just has the questing aspect, so even though the actual combat isn't, like, nuts or anything, like, I don't know, any of the other Final Fantasy games, it's still like, ooh, I like it.
Fair. I don't know. I think for me to be really into a turn-based RPG, I need there to be a lot of interplay between the party members, and I think Dragon Quest, at least in the beginning, because I always, I only get so far into them, it seems like every party member's kind of doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, I think the series is way more popular in Japan than Final Fantasy. Like, Dragon Quest in Japan is huge.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm playing Bravely Default right now, and that's kind of boring, but I'm having a good time with that, so maybe there's hope for me yet.
I love Bravely Default. I have so much nostalgia for that game.
I see. That's one of those where it's like, it is boring, and there isn't a lot of interplay between the party members, but like you said, something about it is saucing me up. I actually don't even think
it's boring. I actually disagree wholeheartedly that it's boring. I really think it's interesting. I love the job system that they made. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it just takes a long time.
It takes a long time, but that's the RPG. Maybe you're just not a long RPG kind of guy.
Yeah, I want to be though, and like
it's not for
there are some that I like He Who Shall Not Be Named, and I get really into.
Wait,
and
what?
God, I know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Persona.
Oh.
And like I really dug Tales of Arise. I never finished it. So like JRPG isn't automatically turn off, and long RPG isn't a turn off. Like I did what's it called? Clair Obscur. I like the combat system in that game quite a bit. It was sort of the other stuff from the game that didn't really vibe with me, like the Mario RPGs. I like those. I don't know. I think I just have very specific connections to certain games, and it's just kind of hit or miss whether I'll actually latch on or not.
Should try playing Ogre Battle March of the Black.
Okay, we'll get right on that.
That'll put some hair in your chest. That game, that is I started playing that recently. That is the first game of the Tactics Ogre series, which is just called, I think it's called like the Ogre Battle series or something like that. And these subtitles of this game series is hilarious. So there's Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, and then there's Ogre Battle 64, like Knight of Lordly Caliber or some shit. Like that's the name of the game. It's really funny. And that game is really, I spent like 3 hours on a mission. It's like a real-time strategy game. And I spent like 3 hours on a mission, no saves. And I was just like,
damn,
freaking out.
It was it's an RTS on, is it on SNES or was it on like Dreamcast or something?
It's on SNES, but there's also some ports for I think there's a Sega Saturn port, and I think there's a PSX port or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm playing the SNES version.
But Tactics Ogre is not RTS. That's a
Tactics
turn-based.
Ogre. Yeah, Tactics Ogre is the tactical strategy game that was on SNES and then PlayStation, and then of course remade. There's like a bunch of different versions of Tactics Ogre. I think the most common one that people play is the one for like, I think like PSP. It's like Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together is the name of it or whatever. So
did you ever go back and play Fallout Tactics?
fuck no.
No? I feel like I feel like that's up your alley though.
I don't really. I need to pick and choose the games I play, and I just don't see the exact value of playing that game, frankly. I honestly would rather play one of the many tactical strategy games that I haven't played already, or even the ones that I played before that have more content to get out of them, like XCOM 2. Like, if you were like, would you rather play XCOM 2 for the third time or Fallout Tactics, I'd probably be like, yeah, XCOM 2.
Fair enough, I guess. I haven't even finished Fallout 2, so I can't really say anything. But
Oh man, that's a good one.
So, what else have you been playing?
I just finished Pragmata this morning.
Oh yeah, is it Mega Man game?
Well, wait, no, it's not a Mega Man game. But before I continue, I wanna make it clear: Ogre Battle 64 is not Knight of Lordly Caliber; it's Person of Lordly Caliber. That's the name of,
okay,
that's
we're
the
being
name,
inclusive.
That's the name of the game. Person of Lordly Caliber. What? And the translation isn't even bad in March of the Black Queen. You know, so I'm like, what is this? It's such a weird name. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, I started playing Pragmata a couple weeks ago. This free shit's been sold out for like a month. This game dropped randomly like 2 months ago or so, and I've just been seeing people like really enjoy it, but it's been sold out online. Like everywhere that I was looking for like over a month, I was like, what the fuck? I really want to play this game. And then I finally was able to get a copy of it. I ordered it off of Best Buy, and then it came like the next day, bright and early in the morning. I was like, holy shit. And so I played through it the past like week or two, and yeah, just finished it this morning. It's pretty short, about 10 hours, maybe 12 if you're gonna do the, you know, secret chapter at the end. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't know anything about the game before I played it. You know, it was like one of those rare things where I was like, oh, I know shit about this game. I've seen like maybe 10 minutes of gameplay. And it's like a brand new IP. Let me just eat this real quick. Let me just see how this is. And it was definitely a good exercise for me. You know what I mean? Just like see something and be like, I'm gonna play it blind and let me just see how it is. And I think it paid off. I think it's a good game.
Trust in Cap God.
What?
You gotta trust in Cap God. They don't miss.
Cap God. I thought you said Cat God. Oh, well, Capcom does miss. Oh, it does.
Not recently.
You're right.
I can't believe how much I've just been like a Capcom fan in the last like 10 years.
Yeah, Capcom is one of the greats right now. They're going through a new age. I think they kind of had a dark period. I think most game companies had a dark period during the 2010s, and then I think they kind of took their head out of their ass at the end of the 2010s, and I think now they're back on track.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So you remember back when Elden Ring came out, you came over to my house and I was playing it.
Yes.
And you watched me play for a couple minutes and you said, I look at this and all I see is Dark Souls 3 again.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I feel about Pragmata compared to Resident Evil. I just see Resident Evil, even though I know that it plays insanely different.
Yeah.
Everything about looking at that game just makes me think of Resident Evil. So in my head, I'm like, well, I'm not going to play Pragmata before I play RE9. So it's on the back burner for me, but I know it's not Resident Evil, so explain to me what it is and why it isn't Resident Evil.
So it's not Resident Evil because it's a completely new thing. I think it could be possibly Resident Evil in the same way that Dark Souls and Monster Hunter are similar in that you have a stamina bar and you circle around enemies with melee weapons and fight big bosses. I think it just has the pattern recognition of a game that you have played before. I actually, it's really not like Resident Evil at all. It doesn't really play like much of anything that I played before, frankly. I can't really think of a good comparison. So Pragmata is a third-person action shooter where you have a child that kind of hitches a ride on your back. You're in a big spacesuit, and she's a robot, and she hacks the robots so you can shoot them. And you go through this sci-fi-ish installation on the moon that is being used as a giant printer to print like electronics and like test materials and utilities and shit like that using some material that's been found on the moon. And you go through these interesting, fantastic sectors one by one, fight new and big enemies, and shoot them to death. And that is like the core gameplay, essentially. You hack with Diana, and you then, so the robots are, I mean, they're robots. You just look at the designs, and they're just robots. I don't know what else to tell you, really. You don't do a lot of damage to them normally. The way you have to do damage to them is that you have to aim at them, and then Diana will open up her hacking interface, and then using the XY square, or you know, using the...
You're freaking me out.
Wait, yeah, I'm freaking myself out. What do you call the face buttons? Are they just called the face buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah, you use the face buttons to navigate a grid. You're a square on this grid, and you use the face buttons to navigate up, down, left, right on this grid to basically hack them. And that opens up their armor for their weak point, and that's when you can actually do like real damage. Every enemy is like this. Every enemy is borderline immune to damage until you open them up. So there's a lot of hacking to be done. I wouldn't say it's a movement shooter. It's not like a survival horror game. It's not like a survival game at all. It's just like kind of just a straight shot action shooter, like straight up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is the hacking in the middle of combat, does it ever get old?
Does it ever get old? The game is short enough to not get old, I think. It is a little interesting because it's not really a fast-paced game. I was going to compare it to something like maybe Vanquish or whatever, because positioning is moderately important, because you have like a boost, you have like a quick boost or whatever. You're gonna go like zip in any direction, and you need to kind of keep your distance from enemies, but you can also like perfect dodge certain attacks or whatever, and you know that doesn't really do anything besides just give you like, you know, slow motion frame or whatever. But it's a pretty slow paced game, because you do need to, when you hack, like half your screen is taken up by the hacking interface. You know what I mean? And you can stop hacking and you can continue hacking. As long as you haven't been like hit directly, you can pick up where you left off and continue to hack. It's not like the hack to take very long. It takes maybe like a second, maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds at most for the bigger hacking grids, for the more complicated enemies. But because you're always doing these hacks, I think the game is more or less pretty slow, and the enemies and their attacks are telegraphed, so that you're not totally overwhelmed when you have to basically do this mini game constantly to deal damage to the enemy. So it kind of, that's kind of like an under the hood sort of thing. You know what I mean? You know how in a video game, what the thing you're not looking at, like if you're looking at something and you turn around, that thing kind of like unrenders.
Sure, yeah.
That's kind of how it works in gameplay, I think. So like, it's really exciting when you're kind of like surrounded by enemies, or like there's enemies like gaining on you, and you turn around and you're like, I gotta hack really, really fast, and you're like, oh shit, it looks like there's a lot going on, but like the enemies are really not as fast as you think so, because the game really needs to give you time to actually, you know, do this hacking thing that takes up your whole vision and impedes like what you're gonna, like where you're moving and how you're shooting and shit like that. So it's not as fast and as hectic as it could have been. You know, it could have been very frustrating, could have been very annoying. It could have been overwhelming, but it's really not. It's actually, it's very well made. It's an extremely competent, well put together game, all things considered. It's not the greatest game I've ever played in my life, but it is very good, and I do think it's worth a play. I do think it's worth a play. It's probably going to be either on the list for shooter of the year or action game of the year, depending on the lineup of this year. I don't think it's going to win it, but if it's a weak year, I could see it winning at one of those categories, low-key.
Sure. I don't know. Why is it worth... I mean, is it just worth play because it's different and unique? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem very... It doesn't grip me, I guess.
I mean, it gripped me because it was just a brand new... It's like a brand new thing that kind of dropped and people really liked it. So that was kind of like enough for me, because I was like, I like the design of the dude, you know, the girl's there, and I'm like, okay. But I like the design of like the robot suit that the guy's in, and it just seemed like a hip new thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this.
But you hate hip new things.
I do hate hip new things. It wasn't like a sequel. It wasn't like a remake. It wasn't a reimagining. You know, it wasn't a Mega Man game secretly all along. It was just, yeah, this is a new thing. And I think about how rare new things happen sometimes in the media world. And I said, fuck, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go buy it. I'm going to go play it. Same reason why I saw Obsession in theaters, because it was a new thing. It was not a sequel or based on anything. It was just new. And I said, fuck it. Whatever. Let me go see it. It's something I've never seen before. Let me see it. And you know what? I said it was worth it. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun.
Cool. How's the writing and story and stuff?
Bad.
It seems like it's very gameplay forward.
It's not very good. The writing is the thing about... I'm sure you've seen some... What have you seen of this game? Have you seen anything about the kid?
So I saw literally everything there was to see about Pragmata before it came out.
Okay.
Like from the second it was announced until the launch trailer, I was all in. Mm-hmm. And then the second it came out, I was like, forget it. I don't care anymore.
That's funny. I never saw this game before in my entire life. So when they dropped it, I was like, yeah, all right. You know, I was like totally in on it. So that's really funny. Have you seen any of these insane fucking tweets about this game?
Like where they did the thing where Diana took over the Twitter accounts, or what do you mean?
I mean, there was a tweet where... So this game is kind of like... Have you ever seen that... Have you ever heard that this idea that Japan is making games that kind of like put focus on families and children and having children and starting a family because to help their like ailing population growth?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay, I've heard that, and I don't think that's true. But like this is something that makes me think that it could be true, because it feels like Shinzo Abe himself came down from heaven and was like, please Capcom, make the general public want to have families. Because it's just like it's so non-subtle about how it's like, man, aren't kids fucking great? And it's like, I'm trying not to be a cynical like dickhead, but it's so forced and not earned. And it's just crazy that I saw a tweet that was like, Diana in Pragmata is single-handedly making thousands around the world want to have children and have families. When gamers get to the scene where Diana gives them a crayon drawing, many of them were so happy to be given the drawing that they broke down into tears. Many streamers who even said beforehand that they don't like kids said that they actually do like kids after playing Pragmata. That's a tweet. That's a real tweet. It's like definitely fake as fuck. But if you are one of those people who like played the game and were given the crayon drawing by Diana and were like, fuck, I want a kid so bad, you need to be probably put into a lab and studied. It's kids. It's so wild. It's so fucking wild. The idea that this game could make you be like, fuck, man, I want a family. But you know, different strokes for different folks. If that actually did happen to you, I'm just kind of being like funny right now. Like if that actually did happen to you, that's you know, that's good for you. But to me, it was like, I felt like a suit from Japan was basically like, man, dude, families, right? I bet you're thinking about having a kid now, huh? Don't you want this in real life? That's what it felt like. It felt like a suit was selling me the idea of having a family. I was like, dude, get the fuck away from me. And I think the problem is that the family, the idea of like this father-daughter relationship between, the guy's name is Hugh, and he's just like a dude, by the way. He's just like a normal ass guy, which I actually think was which I actually think is a good thing. Now that I finished the game, because it really is just like a rando guy. You can replace Hugh with like almost anyone and the game would probably happen exactly the same. And I kind of like that, you know, he wasn't like some really important character or had some crazy backstory or something like that, or was like related to her. He was just like a dude. So I kind of like that. But the reason why I'm saying that this feels like so forced and unearned is because the relationship between Hugh and Diana is kind of just like given to you, and it felt like they were going to do almost something else with it. In the very beginning of the game, it's kind of implied that Hugh doesn't like kids. Like, he shows up onto the ship with this, like, on the moon with this crew, and his crew is like, man, I'm missing my daughter's birthday for this. And Hugh's like, man, you have kids? That fucking sucks, dude. Like, rip. And then later on, when he meets Diana, he's like, oh man, kids. And he does that like in the beginning, like once, and then he's immediately like really, really nice to her. Like, he loves this girl for the rest of the game. And like Diana like immediately imprints on Hugh. Not like that. That's not like a thing that happens like in the story. She just like naturally was just like, man, I really like this guy. Like, I love this guy. And so they immediately just like kind of fall in love with each other, like, you know, platonically, you know, and like they're there for each other and they rely on each other. And there's no real like conflict or anything or conflict of interest. They just like meet and they're cool the whole game. And I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? Why are they so cool with each other like immediately? It almost feels like maybe that it was supposed to be something different. Like, I don't even know. I think the idea I had was maybe Hugh was also a robot and that he like was made to take care of Diana or some shit like that, and then, you know, then the game could be about this like, idea of like robots like caring just like humans can or something like that. Like, I don't know. I thought that I thought that Diana was just gonna be his daughter, like from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like
biological?
I don't know, like biological or like, yeah, this is my daughter, I made her or something like that. Like some type of, I thought like they were already gonna have this relationship before the game started. Or something like that. And I almost feel like that has to be the case because their relationship is just so good off the bat that it's like, it feels weird that is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like if in The Last of Us, like half of The Last of Us is Joel not liking Ellie. And it takes a really long time for them to warm up to each other. And then by the time that they do, it's very realistic and it feels very earned. You know what I mean? But it's just not, I just don't think it's earned in Pragmata. It is just really, really weird. The story has like 3 characters also. So it's like there's not really a lot to see in terms of the story. There's kind of like one goal, and then it kind of switches at like the very end of like what's kind of happening. There's not a lot of twists and turns. It's pretty much a straight shot. You know what I mean? And that's both in terms of gameplay and story wise. Like the game was made and was a straight shot. There's not very many twists or turns or things under the hood, or kind of like, you know, speaking of Dragon Quest, you fight like the final boss of Dragon Quest, and then like there's 3 final bosses of Dragon Quest like 11, where at the end of the first act, like the whole world like blows up, and then you're in like the dark world or something like that, and that's like a huge change, and like everything is like really different, and that's like a lot of new things, and it's like a big part of the game, and then it happens like a second time for the 3rd act. You know what I mean? Like there's no big shift or any point in the story. It's very, very video gamey. You know what I mean?
It's very like 360 era.
That's what people keep
design.
saying. That's what people keep saying. People are like, man, it feels like a PS3 game, and I don't really know what that means, because there's a lot of old games that don't do that. So I don't really know what that means.
I have also heard that, but the reason I said that now is because that's like in the 2010s on 360, you would get a ton of just like first person, third person shooter campaigns that just start and end. And there's not really anything in between that changes anything dramatically. It's just not filler, not content, but just the game is point A to point B.
Yeah, that's exactly what Pragmata is. It's point A to point B. What you see is what you get. And I mean, it's not the greatest story. Not to say that there isn't anything like interesting to see. There's plenty of interesting things to see, but it's definitely like not a very strong story, and the script is also not very good. This child, Diana, is like voiced by an adult woman, and
Man,
that's like
I hate that.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of that. I mean, that's like kind of like a very nitpicky thing, but like once I kind of figured that out, I was like, wait a minute, this is like I think a very authentic performance is Sonny Soljic in God of War. You know, he was a kid, and you know, you can hire kids to voice things in video games, but they kind of just hired an adult woman to do like an anime little kid voice, and it's kind of unsettling in a way as well, like paired with how much Pragmata's emotional string that it has kind of relies on being like, isn't this kid fucking cute? Do you want to protect this kid? And I'm like, well, okay, you're freaking me out, Capcom. Just a little bit. Like, I don't know. There's cute kids in video games and like media where you're just like, man, there's a cute kid. I hope that. Sorry, Isla just came in. What, right now? Sure. We got Colin here. Can we do a guest feature RQ, Jake?
Oh, my mic was on mute. Yeah, hi, Colin.
Hold on. What would you like to talk about, Colin? Talking about Pragmata. What's give me a 5. Give me like a 3-minute rundown of like the most recent favorite game you played.
Oh. All right, cool. My
Hi, Colin.
most recent game that's my favorite that I've played. That is hard. because I've just been playing a lot of like what's recently come out, that being like Tomodachi Life, Pokopia.
This will I get?
All right, word. Yeah, all right. Well, here's the thing.
you
I
hear me?
actually, Pokemon FireRed and Leaf Green came out on Switch recently, which at the time when it was first announced, I thought was just a ridiculous cash grab from the Pokemon Corporation, which it is. That's 100% true. That's just what it is. Because $20 for a now like what 30-year-old game almost, ridiculous. However, I did cave and purchase it, and I just forgot how awesome Generation 3 of Pokemon is. Because my first game was Generation 4. I played Pokemon Pearl, and to this day, I do think Gen 4 is probably my favorite generation just because of nostalgia, and I'm functionally a child in that way. But I forgot how beautiful Gen 3 is just in terms of pixel art. I think it's some of the best, like, just most nostalgic pixel art I've seen in a long time. And I think it translated pretty well to the Switch too. Or just Switch in general. I think it came out for Switch as well. I really just love the music. I love the art. I forgot how fun it is to kind of just run around, and because a lot of Pokemon now is like open world stuff, but I forgot how fun it is just to have this linear progression that you kind of just, you're not stuck with, but it helps you along, and it's just very natural. It's very much a story. I think we do kind of lose a little bit of that with the more recent Pokemon games. So I really did enjoy playing FireRed again. I picked Bulbasaur for the first time ever, actually. I've always been a Squirtle guy, so I decided to branch out and pick Bulbasaur. And I kind of fell in love with Venusaur after he evolved and everything. So I really owe a lot to Pokemon FireRed. So that's probably my favorite game recently I played, Pokemon FireRed.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, that was
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Colin's spot on this random episode of the podcast.
I can't believe you didn't give him the headphones. I
Thank
was
you very
trying to
much.
talk.
Oh, Jake was trying to apparently talk to you, and I didn't give you the headphones. So, oops.
Sorry,
What
Jake.
did you say? Anything? Do you have a question?
I
for
was
him before
saying
go?
how I agreed with every single thing he said so much.
He agrees with every single thing you said so much.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. All right.
So, so that's good.
All right. Sorry I didn't hear any of that, Jake, but
No, it's okay. That was my fault. All right, I'll be out soon.
Bye, Colin.
All right. So, what were we saying about Pragmata? We can splice that up to make it make sense. I think, right?
Sure. Man, I'm thinking about FireRed. I want to play FireRed.
Yeah, we can talk about Pokemon after this if you'd like. But I'm gonna stay on a roll with Pragmata with the discussion. But what was the last thing I said about Pragmata? Do
We
you
were talking
remember?
about how we don't appreciate Diana's acting and how Capcom's freaking you out.
Yeah, Capcom was just kind of wigging me out. I was not getting like the warm tinglies that I think the game is trying to tell me. That's why I'm kind of bringing up that weird, insane tweet that if I find it, I'll send it to you and then you can put it up on the screen, because I just can't imagine feeling like that on like such a product. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like such a product with what it was trying to do. And that really, really wigged me out. Because it's very, like, I don't know. It's very childish. The character is very childish. And most of the dialogue is, once again, like, Hugh and Diana have pretty much a perfect relationship. They don't get into arguments. They don't have disagreements. They're just with each other, like, every step of the way, the entire game. And a lot of the dialogue, especially like the idle dialogue when you're running between areas, is like Diana talking to you like a child. And she's like, Hugh, did you ever, like, do you like using the bathroom? And then Hugh talks to her like he's raising her. He's like, yeah, well, you know, people really like using the bathroom. Some people sit in the bathroom and they read books. And sometimes hours have gone by and you don't even realize it. That's why you always got to be careful about reading in the bathroom. It's like there's always like a lesson or something like that. Like every conversation is like very heartwarming. You know what I mean? And it just kind of became too much for me. I think it was just missing a certain oomph, a certain spice. It never really took it beyond, and it really got tiring because by the end of the game, you're just like, oh, it's not going to take any risks or anything like that. Even the one risk it kind of does take at the very end, you're like, oh shit, wait a minute. a risk, like a narrative risk. That's actually huge. I'm actually surprised they're doing this. Is undone when you get the secret ending. So, womp womp.
Damn. I kind of hope that Capcom sees the success they're getting from this and decides to make more weird shit instead of... I mean, they can make Pragmata 2 if they want, but I think they should keep making more weird shit.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they should keep making weird shit. I liked it. I think everywhere needs to make more original IPs and properties. Not just spiritual successors and, homages and sequels and remakes and remasters. Just we can take risks, Of course, $1 million suits don't like hearing the word risk, but oh well. Speaking of risks, dude, Mina the Hollower came out.
Yeah. I can't believe it got such good reviews.
I can't fucking believe that Yacht Club's recklessness has paid off. I can't believe they goddamn it, they did it again. They made Shovel Knight over a decade ago, and they were just riding that shit for 10 years to the point where they were like, if Mina the Hollower doesn't sell well, we're fucked. And then it came out and it sold well. I was like, God damn it, they fucking got us.
Well, I saw a comment from I don't know if it was their CEO or one of the suits that works there instead of one of the actual developers. It was like, yeah, if we don't sell 1 million copies, I'm gonna be disappointed. It's like, okay, dude, relax.
So you gotta
take
it
$20.
Easy. It's like, yeah, our company is going under. We don't have money. And it's like, yeah, you kind of made the same game for over a decade. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to wait. When did Shovel Knight come out? 2014. You didn't have to wait 12 years to make a new game. Because think about what Yacht Club games have made. They made Shovel Knight, and then they made the 3 DLCs that took fucking forever to come out. And then they made Shovel Knight Dig, Shovel Knight Fighters or whatever like that. And then did you Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope DX?
Pocket.
What the fuck is that? Pocket? Yeah, Pocket Dig or whatever.
Let's not forget that Shovel Knight launched as a Wii U console exclusive.
Oh, so yeah, dude.
The fact that they were able to ride it for so long is pretty impressive.
Dude, I played it. My first exposure to it was playing on 3DS. I love that shit. And the 3DS version only comes with comes with the 3 campaigns. It might not come with Spectre of Torment. I don't really recall. It's not important, but yeah. I'm just fucking flabbergasted that they did a fool's gambit. They said, fuck it, all eggs in one basket. Let's hope it works, and I think it worked. I remember I was seeing people, and this kind of wigs me out. This kind of thought process of people being like, yeah, I love Yacht Club and I love Shovel Knight so much, so I'm gonna buy their game just to support them. And I'm like, that kind of wigs me out because it's like you're kind of rewarding a company for kind of bad behavior and possibly a bad product. Am I crazy or what?
I don't think you're not crazy. I would never buy something I guess sometimes I buy some Nintendo shit just because I love Nintendo because I'm a Disney adult. But I don't think you can really... it's not bad behavior for them to put all their eggs in one basket. It's reckless.
That's true.
But
I think it's reckless.
Sometimes that's how the best games get made.
That's true. Bad behavior wasn't the right word, but it just feels like... I feel like I'd be rewarding reckless behavior. And that is, I've been really big on different strokes for different folks. Like when you said that you liked Moonlighter and I didn't kill you on the spot.
Thought about it though.
That was a big moment for me. And if you want to do that, that's awesome. I'm just not that kind of guy. Probably the only reason I'm like that is because we finally got 2 comments on our last podcast episode, and from people who aren't our friends, and they were little critical of.
I thought they were fine.
No, they're fine, but I was like, oh man, because they were like, what did the comment say? He said that one of a comparison I made specifically was one of the most crazy things he's ever heard, and I went, "Oh fuck, oh no."
I don't know. I feel like we're such a small podcast that sure you're probably gonna see every comment, but I'm not like I don't really.
I am not. Say. No, I'm not. I'm actually very appreciative towards that comment. Assuming if that person is actually here today, listening to us today, I really do appreciate that comment. I actually really like the engagement. I just thought it was really funny because I was like, holy shit, 2 comments, and it was about like some dumb shit I said, and I was like, oh man, fuck.
Oh man, I should have not let you see in the comments. I knew you would take it too
seriously.
No,
I'm not taking it seriously. I thought you would laugh. Because I think it's funny.
So I'm looking at a trailer for Mina the Hollower right now.
Okay. Yeah.
This game doesn't look that good. I've listened to a couple reviews, I've read a couple reviews, and every word that they say sounds awesome. But I'm looking at the trailer, and I don't know. It like doesn't look that fun.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that. I like retro type shit.
But that's not the reason. Like, I actually think the art style is really cool. It just looks... I don't know. It gives me, like... You know what it looks like to me? It looks like fucking... What's that game called? It was like a 3DS indie. One of the first 3DS indies. It was like a GTA knockoff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Fuck, what is that game called? Well, hang on. I'm going to look it up.
GTA
but while I'm looking at it, it's like...
on 3DS?
Yeah, hang on. I have it, but I don't have my 3DS with me. Either way, it's like it looks like there's just too much going on for the limited screen palette, like the size of the screen and the sprites. There's just so much happening that I'm like overwhelmed just watching it.
It kind of reminds me of what is it? The Bloodstained retro games. I don't remember what they're called. Circle of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon. Circle of the Moon is like a random Castlevania game for Game Boy. Yeah, Curse of the Moon. There's Curse of the Moon 2. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Those like dark colors. Or remember when I was playing Infernax?
Oh,
remember
God.
that? It kind of reminds me of Infernax a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know. Are you gonna check it out? It is only $20.
Oh yeah. You know, I feel like I have to. It just looks really... I mean, it's $20, and people are saying it's good. I'm seeing fucking rave reviews, and of course, that's always a bad thing to tell me, because I'm gonna go into it being like, it's a 10. You shouldn't do that. I need to go into the game thinking it's shit. I went into Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, man, this game is gonna be fucking ass. And then I was like, oh, this game is good. I like it. All right. I liked Final Fantasy VIII.
I guess I'm not the biggest fan of like an isometric. Here's the thing. I want to say I'm not the biggest fan of an isometric like action game. Like I'm not a huge fan of the 2D Zelda games. I don't hate them. But I love Binding of Isaac, and this kind of gives Binding of Isaac in a certain way because of the variety of the items that and weapons you get to use. I think I'm conflicted because it also, from what I've been reading about it and all the reviews, it seems like it falls into that Hollow Knight bucket of like games that I would play if I wanted to really invest a lot of effort into getting good at a relatively simple presenting game that is actually very deep.
I don't think that's true. I think this game must have a casual audience for sure. I mean, Shovel Knight was not very difficult. Like it had challenging moments, but I mean, I think Shovel Knight and Hollow Knight are actually they have like a parallel kind of story, I think, in a way. They kind of came out at the same time, and and then the sequel was like a million years away. But of course, Hollow Knight was more trying to be difficult. But Yacht Club was never like, yeah, we're gonna make a fucking hard game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even necessarily mean in terms of difficulty. It just looks like you'd have to really learn the game.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just the vibe I'm getting. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to jump in at some point. I'm hoping they'll get a physical release on Switch.
Yeah, I don't think so. I actually do have faith in... If these reviews are true, I actually do have faith in Yacht Club, low-key. Because I also, and then, we're going to talk about original IPs again. I'm just like, what the fuck is a hollower? I got to figure out what that's all about. You figure out what a hollower is. I got to,
that was the other thing. I could never remember what this game is called for 10 years. And every time it would show up at like a Nintendo Direct, or I guess that was only really the one time, everyone was freaking out. And I was like, what is this? And I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. I only heard it in like faded whispers, and I kind of figured, because I was also hearing about like the yacht club issues, so I kind of figured that it was just gonna go like poof, go away, like Gang of Dragon. Holy shit, dude, Gang of Dragon. Did we talk about Gang of Dragon last time?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
I kind of miss it already. I never even got a chance.
Dude, I think he did. I think that was the problem. I think he got like $40 million, and he like ate it or something. He like woke up every morning and he said yes. 50,000 yen for breakfast and ate it. Because where did the money go? Anyway, also that game looked crazy. I mean, you were in Japan with like a minigun. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I don't know. That kind of blows my mind. Anyway,
you were
that's
also Korean. So.
Oh, it was a Korea?
No, it was in Japan, but the main character was Korean, and it was supposed to be like a bouncing back and forth cultural like examination.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. I thought me and the Hollower one day were just gonna like we were gonna wake up one day and it was gonna be like poof, like Nina the Hollower is canceled, it's not coming out, you know what I mean? Just like Gang of Dragon. And it kind of like, because this game is like a myth, it's almost as mythical as the Haunted Chocolatier. What the fuck is that gonna be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, same caliber for sure.
Like, when the Haunted Chocolatier drops, if the reviews are good, I'm probably gonna fucking buy it. Because, like, I gotta find out what's haunted about the Chocolatier.
Yeah. And then, okay, what's up with these big, like, not even necessarily big budget, but just high profile indie games not having physical releases and then getting them a couple months later? We gotta cut this out.
Because basically, they can make the people who really wanted to play it pay for it immediately. And then they can get the fucking nerds like us to pay for it again when it comes out physically. That's how.
I don't think that they're that malicious. At least I'd like to think that most people aren't that malicious. But you are right that
probably
does
not.
happen.
I just think that the cost of physical media, I think, for production is probably rising. And I think is probably, as things become more and more digital, I just think companies, and especially indie companies, are not seeing the point.
I know, but it's just like indies. Okay, this is a question for you, because I don't know if you have any insight. Do you ever go on to like Play Asia or like any of the import sites to see like what are people importing nowadays? Because I feel like that isn't really a thing anymore.
No.
So, like, I go on these sometimes, or like I go on VGP to like get some deals on some physical media, and there's just like dozens of shovelware ass games that I've never heard of, that look terrible, that have bad reviews, that have physical releases with like special editions and manuals and all this stuff. And then Hollow Knight Silksong doesn't get a physical release for 6 months, and it comes out and it doesn't even really look that special. It's like, what? How? Or like Wanted Dead. You know that game, Wanted Dead?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's that game. I actually kind of want to play it. It looks insane. It looks like one of the worst game I've ever seen, but in a good way. That game, I see it every time I go to the exchange, every time I go to a retro game store, every time I go to Target when it came out, I would see it on the shelf, and it had this really cool pink box that really stood out on shelves, and it has awesome cover art. It makes the game look awesome.
Oh shit, was Wanted Dead that game that had all those celebrities or whatever?
No, that was was it Crime Boss Rockay City? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Which is even better.
I just don't understand how these games are getting physical releases, but then the really popular indies just sometimes never. Like UFO 50, I got my copy of UFO 50 like 2 years after that game came out.
Dude, Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I actually have no idea what the problem is. I imagine, I think it might just be a case of overly cautious, maybe, developers. Because, those games that are shit are probably made by developers who are like, this is gonna fucking sell great. And then they, make bad decisions. Meanwhile, the game companies that make good decisions, which there aren't very many of them, are like, oh, fuck, it might not make 1 million copies. Don't even bother with a physical copy.
But we're making a lot of 1,000 copies of Popcorn Rocket for the PlayStation 4.
I have no idea. I don't know how it's possible. I really have no idea. I think the state of physical media is like plateauing immensely.
Did you see that thing about Poop Slinger?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, you know about Poo Slinger at all?
Poo Slinger?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, so it was like an April Fool's joke from presumably limited run games a couple of years ago. It was this like shit literally game, and some company as an April Fool's joke made a physical copy, a physical run of this game that you could buy for 1 day only, and I think like only 100 people bought them or something like that. So it became one of the rarest and most expensive PS4 games. But I guess I was reading that Sony has a minimum number of copies that you have to produce if you're gonna run a physical print. So for years there's been this like elusive, there are hundreds of copies of Poo Slinger out there somewhere, and no one knew where they were.
We gotta find it. It's like the end of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, exactly.
They put it in the fucking box and it just goes into a warehouse.
Yeah.
But they don't even know. They don't, like, the dude doesn't even know what he just put away in storage forever.
But I guess a couple weeks ago, retro game stores started getting boxes with like 6 or 7 Whoa, hang on. Say that again. Getting like multiple copies of Poo Slinger in a box.
Yeah.
And they had no idea where it came from. And no one knows who sent them or where they came from.
That is divine providence. That's what that is.
Right? Mm-hmm.
I would tell 100% every copy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking at limited run games right now. A Boy and His Blob on PlayStation 5. That's what I've been waiting for.
See, I've actually heard of A Boy and His Blob, but some of these games that they're putting out physically, I don't think anyone has ever heard of them, ever.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for my pre-order of the Switch 2 edition of Isaac.
Yeah, it's never happened.
Order up. It keeps getting pushed back. I'm getting a little scared.
But Super Meat Boy 3D got a PS4 or PS5 and Switch 2 release on day one. It wasn't a problem at all.
Dude, the game is out. The game has been out for like 12 years. How is it like, oh fuck, we gotta push the game back? It's out.
Isaac, you mean?
Isaac is out. Isaac is a modern game still. How are they like, oh shit, we're having trouble? Like, what is going on? I just have to find out what's going on. The same thing with fucking Order Up. What's going on? Order Up I can kind of understand because it's kind of like some niche shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, yeah, we fucked it up. I don't know. And so we have to like push it back. But like, what is going on with Isaac? What are they doing?
I don't know.
I pre-ordered that shit like months ago because I thought it was gonna be like gone like that. Nope. It was supposed to be out already.
I think Isaac is probably held together by like floss and toothpicks. So I wouldn't be surprised if there would be some trouble actually getting it onto a cartridge.
They're figuring out how to add Chris Chan into the game.
No.
They're figuring out how to do it without anyone noticing.
They did that with Eugenics. No announcement, no word about it, just in the game.
It's awesome.
Great. Can I talk about the Mortal Kombat movie?
Mortal Kombat 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I saw Mortal Kombat 2, everyone. Cool. It's shit.
Oh, man.
But it's... Okay, let me ask you a question, Jonathan, but this also... For the audience, ask yourself these questions. Do you like the Mortal Kombat story modes at all?
Do I like the Mortal Kombat story modes? I remember enjoying Mortal Kombat 9 and 11. Mortal Kombat 10 story mode is like a really low budget B movie. So I'm not a huge fan of that one. However, I do remember really enjoying the Mortal Kombat 11 story mode when I played it.
Now you're pissing me off.
Did I really? You like the Mortal Kombat 10 story mode?
You liked 11 more than 10.
I liked 11 more than 10 because Mortal Kombat 10 was just like the characters like walking around and being like, the pee pee poo poo is here, and then like the characters like, you're here for the pee pee poo poo, and then all the characters like are like, we gotta fight, and then your character that you're playing as gets like punched into a room to be secluded so they can have a one-on-one fight, and then that's the story.
Yeah, but 11, when we have fucking zombie Liu Kang walking with his bald baby boss and taking you through 11 was fucking weird.
11 was
weird.
really weird. 11 was extremely weird, but I remember just being like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. It was interesting at least. So I was like, cool, let's do it. You know what I mean? Mortal Kombat 10 was just really boring.
Damn, you're pissing me off right now.
What about the Mortal Kombat 10 story did you love so much? Are you upset that I...
fun.
What?
It was so fun to just be with those characters with the shitty writing and just watch them ham it up and be themselves for like 10 hours.
That's true, but I can watch these shitty characters be fun, but also Johnny Cage is like taken through time and he's talking with his older self and he's like, dude, we had sex with her. Whoa. You know?
That was funny. I didn't hate 11. I didn't hate 11 at all. I liked 11's story mode enough.
I hated Aftermath.
Really? I thought Aftermath was like fine. I thought it was just as good as the story mode.
Well, they did this whole thing where Sindel, in like almost all of the lore of Mortal Kombat, Sindel is supposed to be like kind of hypnotized. So she's not actually evil. She was just kind of like taken under like Shao Kahn's like control or whatever. So that's like her whole character. You know what I mean? And then there's like a huge reveal where it's like, yeah, I am evil and I just really fucking love Shao Kahn. I was like, what is happening? And also, it's just like, it's just bizarre. It's just so bizarre. Yeah,
that was weird. But okay, the reason I ask is because the Mortal Kombat 2 movie is on par with the Mortal Kombat story modes.
Okay.
If you like watching the cutscenes in those story modes and you have any love for the classic Mortal Kombat characters, you should watch Mortal Kombat 2. And if it's still in theaters, I do think you should watch it in theaters because this is one of the biggest budget martial arts movies that has been in theaters in a long time. And It shows. There's so many fight scenes in this movie, and that's what you need for a Mortal Kombat movie. As much as I want to see Johnny Cage be an asshole and walk around, just fill this thing to the brim with these characters fighting, and they did that with excellent fight choreography and got like real martial arts actors to play these characters, which they did in the first one, but first one's just kind of boring. So if any of those things appeal to you, I do think you should watch the movie, but be aware that it is pretty poorly written and paced.
Is it bad enough to laugh at? Like be
Absolutely.
like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it is so bad that it's good. Here's the thing though, and this broke my little heart. The first Mortal Kombat movie, not the first, but the one from 2021, not like the 1995 one. It was boring, but the characters were so true to the characters from the game that I just admired it, with the exception of Cole Young, and I'll come back to that. But in this movie, they got probably the best actress that they could have cast for Kitana to play her. It's perfect. Shao Kahn, perfect.
I did hear Kitana served in this movie, and I say served very sparingly. these days. I heard she served hard.
She did. And she actually, in a way, and actually I saw the movie with Sam, and she was talking about this on the way home. She kind of betrays the Katana character by being too badass. But I did really like her. I liked a lot of the new characters that they introduced, but they dropped the ball so hard with Johnny Cage that it broke my little heart. Carl Urban, when I heard that Carl Urban was cast as Johnny Cage, I was so hyped. I thought that would be perfect. But you could tell he was just phoning it in the whole time. Like,
it's tough. Yeah.
He was acting how they portray Johnny Cage acting in his movies in the game.
It's tough to play a character like Johnny, to be like a totally disingenuous like dickhead who like doesn't even really care. It's a really I don't know how easy of a character that is to play. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure, but it's like I'm not sure if it's the acting or the writing, because they were both pretty bad. But like half of his lines are just pop culture references, like the Marvelization of script writing. Like the first time he sees Raiden, he's like, "Oh, look, Big Trouble in Little China." Like that's the first thing out of his mouth, and it's like half of his lines. Or like he calls Quan Chi Pennywise, and
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Quan Chi's in that movie?
No, wait, I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat 1, which I'm gonna get to. He does the same shit in that game.
Oh, okay. See, I like the only thing I've seen about Mortal Kombat 1 is actually that Johnny Cage is like genuinely like, oh fuck, my life kind of sucks right now, because I think the first game starts with him like losing everything and his girlfriend walks out and he's like, man, fuck, this day sucks. And he opens the door and like Raiden and Liu Kang are standing there and he goes, what the fuck is happening?
That happens, and then maybe there's like a new directive, because then from that moment on in Mortal Kombat 1, he says the same shit that I'm talking about from the Mortal Kombat movie, where like half of his lines are just pop culture references, and the other half, it's like the Johnny-isms you would expect. He's like, there's a pregnant pause, and he's like, fuck you guys, and walks away or something like that. It's not the worst written thing in the world, but the way it's delivered, it just has no charisma. And he needs to be the charisma junkie.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think a lot of writers are able to write funny characters. They're just like, oh fuck, I don't.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know?
Did you see the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie?
No.
Okay.
I am so deeply uninterested in these video game movies.
Yeah.
I only saw Sonic 3 because my uncle was like, I've liked those movies. And I'm like, you like fucking Sonic 3? The uncle who's kind of like roasted my ass for liking video games before? And then we went and saw Sonic 3. And I was like, yep, it's Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic movies are actually, they're not the worst of them. I mean, we'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, they could be much, much worse. They're actually not really even bad.
So I watched the 21 Mortal Kombat with my dad over COVID, because it was whenever we were putting movies on HBO. So we were it was just on. And I was like, yeah, I'll watch Mortal Kombat movie if it's on, because I like Mortal Kombat. I want to see what they do with the characters. And I really enjoyed how they portrayed the characters. But the movie itself was so fucking boring. And nothing happens, and there was barely any fights. And they introduced just a bunch of bullshit that like gummed up the works. Like they had this whole subplot about the characters, like every human has an innate ability that they have to unlock by training, and then you get to use
unique. And
yeah,
everyone has a unique power.
Yeah, and like Kano has his eye laser because that's his unique ability, not because he has a mechanical eye, and like all this kind of weird stuff.
Oh man, that's so like over explanation of like, that's crazy, dude. In Scott Pilgrim, I just reread like all of Scott Pilgrim since I was like middle school. I reread it, and all that shit is just like, yeah, I can just do that. And I'm like, okay,
right?
Like and that's no explanation needed. Yeah. So dumb. It's like they think that like these boomers are gonna like watch this movie and be like, I just don't understand. It's like, meanwhile, okay, just because they're old doesn't mean that they're gonna be like confused.
But like that's the thing, is they didn't even commit to it, because like Raiden is a demigod of thunder. That
He's
doesn't
not even
make
from Earth.
right. That doesn't make much more sense than Scorpion being able to breathe fire. Like, it's not that real, and it really bothered
Yeah.
me. But the fight, see, I did like the movie though, because the fight scenes were incredibly high quality, and the CG actually wasn't that bad because they used it sparingly. A lot of the, I mean, because so much of the martial arts was real, a lot of the stunts were real, and most of the CG was reserved for, like, you know, Sub-Zero making ice, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked fine. But I was like, okay, I want to see what they do with Mortal Kombat 2, because Mortal Kombat 1 had such great things in it, but it was bogged down by all this bullshit. Not the least of which was that the main character, Cole Young, is an original character for the movie.
Yes.
And I don't have a huge issue with them making an original character for the movie because they weren't retelling the story of the games. Fine. Tell your story. Do you, as Jonathan, who's not seen the movie, do you know what Scorpion does in that movie?
Isn't he like the?
Just take a guess. Take a guess.
What does he do? Doesn't he die?
No. What do you think Scorpion does in fights in that movie? How does he fight?
How does he fight?
Yeah.
That is a great question. What does he throw his spear out and say,
Yeah.
"Get over here," like 8
Yeah.
times?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he breathes fire. And then, you know, you see Sonya Blade, who is a soldier with weird gauntlets on her arms. What do you think she does? She fights and she uses her weird gauntlets. Cole Young, I don't even really know what his thing is, and I saw both movies. He wears a shirt. That's his power. He wears a shirt.
What is the shirt cool?
It's no, it looks awful. And his power set is that he has a special shirt that grows out of his body. That it's not his body, it's clearly a piece of clothing that he's wearing that is like Black Panther, so if he gets hit, it like absorbs the energy.
Oh, wait a minute. It's not even. I thought it was like a tech thing. I kind of
No.
knew about the shirt, but I thought it was like a tech thing.
No, that's like his power that he is granted in the movie. The other power is he has one stick and one knife.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah. I think I see the knife in the picture that I'm looking for.
It's
Cole Young. This is the Mortal Kombat wiki. This is the quote they have. Well, I'm willing to die for my family. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. He's such a nothing burger of a character, and his powers are so lame.
They have
would've
don't
been-
they have a bunch of rando like really kind of deep cut characters in that movie, and then they kind of like kill them.
Yeah, they had Cabal and Melina, and they killed them both off in the first movie, which I think is an insane thing to do.
Cabal's kind of criminal. I kind of knew that they killed what is it, Nitara or whatever, and I was like, Nitara, whatever. But like, I think Raiko is in the movie. I was like, well, no, Raiko, what?
I didn't even
What
know
about-
that. I haven't seen it in a while. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I
And
actually
then
low-key
Reptile is just a lizard. He's just a big lizard.
Hell yeah! Why didn't you just fucking? Why didn't they just show like I don't know, like Kintaro or something if they wanted a big creature? I don't fucking.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Okay, but so all that, I was like, this guy sucks. I hate Cole Young. I hate that they bogged this all down. Mortal Kombat 2, they're telling the story of the actual tournament now. Johnny Cage is the main character, and we're bringing in Kitana and Shao Kahn, who are like two of my favorite characters from the games. I was like, okay, I'm sold. Let me watch. They do a great job with getting rid of all that bullshit super quickly. They don't mention, so it was called Arcana, was the powers that they get. They don't mention it once. They don't talk about it at all. And even, so Johnny Cage, he makes like 3 jokes about how like, I don't have any powers. I have to go up and fight dudes who shoot lightning and breathe fire. And then he does, I guess spoilers, even though who cares, he gets a shadow kick. But they don't mention it. They don't say, you know, you earned your whatever. It just happens. And you're just like, cool, it happened.
Okay.
The other thing, and this is a real spoiler if you do care about the movie, so Cole Young's in the movie.
Yes.
He is actually not that bad. He's well written in this one, and is more of a side character, which is how he should be. And he supports the group. He goes in the Mortal Kombat tournament. He goes up in the first round against Shao Kahn. He wins for like 30 seconds, then Shao Kahn pushes him to the floor and slams his head with a hammer, and he explodes like a watermelon, and Cole Young is dead.
Yay!
It's awesome. It's so awesome.
I did hear about that. I did hear that like that actually showed up on my radar that they like killed Cole Young. I was like, whoa, that's huge. Like I kind of can't believe it.
And I like the actor, so I kind of hope they bring him back because he is like a descendant of Scorpion or whatever. So I hope he gets to stay in the franchise in some way. But thank God they got rid of this character.
I think they should have added him to Mortal Kombat 1. Like actually, though.
They were going to. It was
really.
They were going to add him as a cameo fighter, not as a real character, which is like fine, whatever. But I think he got scrapped for like Janet Cage or something. Like
yeah, fuck, like whatever, dude. Janet Cage, go fuck yourself. That's wild, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
And I'll talk about Mortal Kombat 1 maybe in a different episode, but that game has a lot of problems. But the portrayal of Kitana and Jade is so good in this movie. Like that should have been the whole movie, but of course they beat for beat retell the story of the tournament and Shao Kahn trying to take over. You know, he took over Outworld. He's trying to take over Earthrealm.
Is it just Mortal Kombat 9?
Yeah, it's pretty much the story of Mortal Kombat 9, but without the time travel part. Like it's the story of Mortal Kombat 1. It didn't really have a story.
Is Shang Tsung even in the movie?
Yes, Shang Tsung's in the movie. And he doesn't do as good of a job as the original Shang Tsung from the 95 movie, but you know,
I mean,
not many people can.
What's that quote? What's that quote from
Your
Johnny?
soul is mine.
Yeah, but what's that quote from Johnny when Goro like picks his sunglasses up off his shirt and he crushes them and he's like, those are $500 sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then he does like 8 backflip kicks or something.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to talk about Johnny Cage, and like this is kind of what I'm talking about. It's like, let your video game movie kind of be a little video gamey. It's like there's like a line in Mortal Kombat 9 or something like that. First of all, Johnny Cage goes to the island in Mortal Kombat 9 and he's just like beating the shit out of people like full force, and they're like shooting acid and guns at him, and he's just like, man, this is a weird movie set, right? And he's just doing like flash kicks and shadow like balls and whatever, and he's just like, yeah, I could just do this, right? And then fucking Raiden is like, yeah, you're actually descended from like ancient Sumerian warriors, and everyone's just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
It's just a crazy like random thing. It's like, word, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of MK9 in this movie. Like a lot of the same jokes are hit, a lot of the same like dramatic beats are hit, and a lot of the characters obviously are the same. I'm gonna summarize it in just a couple key set pieces that I think were really well done, because I don't want to take too long talking about this, but there's a fight in this movie between Liu Kang and Kung Lao, which is like just such a classic pairing from like all the games. You always see them going up against each other.
Yeah.
The fight must be like 15 minutes. It is so long and there's so much choreography. I mean, you believe it. It feels real for a decent amount of it. Even when they're doing the crazy like saw blade hat shit and bicycle kicks and shooting fire and all that, it's really well done. Like I wanna watch the movie again just to see that fight. The other thing they did that I have to give them major props for is that Baraka is in this movie, and he doesn't suck.
He doesn't suck. That's rare.
He looks fine. I don't think it looks that great. But they made him a comedic character, which Baraka just needs to be funny in a live action movie, because there's no way to make him intimidating or serious.
He looks fun. He's like a silly guy. He's a silly looking guy. Meanwhile, in like the actual games, he's like a menace.
Yeah, and I mean in the games it's believable, but in the movie it's like you can't watch a live action person wearing a mask talk with real syllables and believe that they're supposed to be threatening.
Is Noob Saibot in the game?
Yes.
In the movie?
Yes, really? That's one of the other things I wanted to give them props for, is that they have a whole Netherrealm scene, which, as you can imagine, is probably really hard to do in live action and not have it look like shit, but it does look like shit when they do like wide shots and everything. But they purposefully block those scenes to have a lot of intimate fights and a lot of like characters talking one-on-one. so that the green screen in the background is either blurred out because it's in the background, or in the cases where it shows like lava coming at them and whatnot, it's like it is CG, but it's not like the CG is in the forefront, it's in the background. So it's, I think, a little bit more believable.
Dude,
And the stuff they do
hot
with...
as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, you know, you get... They do all of those things in movies where the characters lean over lava or whatever. And I'm like, you know that your eyelashes would burn off just from looking at it.
You know that scene in Incredibles where he's having dinner with
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that woman, Mirage or whatever, and they're in like Syndrome's lair and it has the lava waterfall? Dude, you'd be in that place, be like, oh fuck, turn on the AC, please. You'd be fucked up. Turn off the heat.
And the last thing that I want to give them props for is that the Noob Saibot effects didn't look bad. They looked good.
That's
and
good.
they made use of his toolkit in a really great way, which a lot of movies, I feel like the biggest example of this I can give is like some of the more modern Marvel stuff. It's I haven't really been watching it, but from what I've been seeing clips of and stuff, these characters, they have like these crazy abilities and they just punch. Like they just punch harder. That's their main gimmick. And this one, the Noob Saibot stuff is really cool. And they don't call him Noob Saibot because that's an insane name. They just call him Bihan, which I think is pretty cool.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, this reminded me of this could probably be the last thing we talk about, but Street Fighter movie.
I'm looking forward to it. I gotta admit.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it too because it looks funny and it looks like it's very video gamey kind of. I like the scene where they in the trailer where they beat the shit out of the car. But I like how they have like all these actors playing like they have a bunch of like random characters like showing up, like Dan Hibiki and fucking would they have 50 Cent playing as like Balrog?
Yeah.
It's like holy hell, dude. Like I wonder, I hope it's good, because if the best fighting game movie we have is the Mortal Kombat movies, that's gonna be really, really brutal despite how fun they are. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is fun, but this, I guess I didn't lean enough into this. The dialogue in this movie is fucking terrible. And the pacing is all over the place to the point where I didn't almost walk out, but I almost was like, I'm just gonna leave the theater for a few minutes and like check my phone because I'm so bored.
Real, I would do that too. It's like when you almost left during that one movie.
What?
Remember when you said you almost left the theater during that one movie we saw?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. What was that? It was like,
I think it was Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it was Dungeons and Dragons. It was like the first 10 minutes. I was like, what the fuck are we watching? I can't do this for 2 hours.
It still blows my mind. I think it's so funny.
And then it gets good. Well, it gets fun after that. But those first like opening minutes of that movie, I literally was like, I cannot sit through this.
It had the bird. It had the bird. It had Jonathan.
No.
Jonathan, no. This is actually the last thing I kind of want to talk about. Do you know about the new Tekken season pass for characters?
I saw that they were putting the dude from
Baki.
Baki, yeah.
It's so rarely do I see ideas and go, fuck, wait, that's genius.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. What is his name? Like Hanma, like Yujiro Hanma or something like that. I'm so excited. I don't even play Tekken. I don't watch Baki, but I think it's so fucking funny that they're adding this motherfucker in the game. I think it's hilarious that they're doing it. It's almost, it's like, I don't even know. Man.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect match. Like Akuma was good, but this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is just hilarious. I really hope that when the game comes out, it's like as ridiculous as the show is.
Yeah,
you know?
and I've been going on a binge lately because of this movie. So I played through Mortal Kombat 9 and 1 in the last couple of days, and I have the trilogy downloaded like MK Trilogy. I'm gonna play through that as well, like the
Yeah.
towers and stuff. But I have Tekken 8, and so I'm wondering if maybe I should be getting into Tekken 8, at least for the story mode, because I've heard the story mode's pretty baller in that one.
Tekken is a lot of fun. It's just very expensive because they make all these characters, and these characters are extremely expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like Tekken 7, like you get the game, and then you have to pay like a premium just to get all the characters. There's so many, and some of the characters are really funny. Like you got like fucking Noctis
and
from Final
and
Fantasy
Negan.
15, which is really weird. And also there's like what is it, Clive in I think in the new one, which I like didn't realize that was true. Oh yeah, Negan. Like Negan is really weird.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm like, I really like fighting games. I'm just so bad at them. So if they have a good single player offering, I'll be there in some way.
Listen, you're better than me. So
I don't know if that's true. You whooped my ass at Injustice a couple times.
we played Injustice.
Yeah, we played Injustice and MK11 for like a good couple weeks when we lived together. Like all of us
No
did.
recollection of Injustice.
Oh my
I
God.
kind of remember Mortal Kombat 11.
Well, maybe you only played when we were playing MK11, but like we were all going back and forth between the two because I got them on like they were like in a bundle.
Oh, on a bundle. Okay.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember Mortal Kombat 11 because I like really like playing Jax, and Jax has like ridiculous X-ray moves or whatever,
Yeah.
or what is it?
Jax
The
is
fatal.
really fun in MK11.
Yeah. So you can just do like a bunch of different. Like I have a whole like rundown where I do like 3 of like those X-ray moves at once, and then you can only do them once per match. So then like the second round doesn't go very well.
Yeah, but it's so
That first
because
round.
his fatal blow, is that the one where he like grabs you and punches you in the face?
Yeah,
over
yeah.
and
He
over
punches you in the head like 5 times, and then he claps your ears.
again? I love Jax.
awesome.
And Jax is a
Yeah.
fucking cameo fighter in MK1. What are we doing? What
that
are we
true?
doing?
Jax is not playable in MK1.
No, he's not, and he's not in the story either. Well,
That's straight up probably
in the
why I didn't
post-credits
get MK1.
yeah,
I'm not
I
even
was
not even
heartbroken.
fronting. Yeah. That's hilarious. Oh, all right.
All right,
That was a good talk about video games.
it was. I can't wait to get back and do these more regularly because I feel like I've been slacking on reviewing my games. I've just kind of been shoveling content into my mouth and not even really taking the time to think about them. And
Well,
maybe
you've
that's
been a
just
busy
because it's summertime and I'm like, man, I'm just hanging out playing games. I'm not thinking too hard, but I want to think hard. That's why I have a fucking gaming podcast. So
This
gotta
is
do these
this is the very rare period of time between seasons where it's really, really nice. So, once it gets blisteringly hot, then you can play to your heart's content. But as of right now, go outside.
hey, yesterday
fun.
I sat outside. Weather was perfect. I had a cup of coffee. I had my Switch 2 out there. I was under an umbrella. I was smoking a cigar. It was like
Smoking a cigar.
it was like it was one of the best mornings I've had in a long time.
Are you gonna become a cigar guy?
No, I hope not.
Would you? You just bought a cigar, but like this is the day.
I mean, hey, you can enjoy something and not be a guy.
That's true. That's true.
But I am unfortunately
Circle back to
the
this
gaming
in
guy.
circle back to this in 2 years and be like, yeah, I
Crippling
went to the
nicotine
doctor. Yeah, I went to the doctor and they said I only have tar in my lungs. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, Jonathan. Well, thank you for chatting about games with me. Let's do this again in a couple
course.
weeks. We can talk.
Yes, let's play some good shit.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.